just wanted to give you all a very quick heads up. We have a very powerful grand Earth trine in the skies right now, involving Juno in Virgo, Uranus, and Algol in Taurus, and also Hylonome in Capricorn. So I'll go through these very, very briefly. But you should know me long enough to know that when I look at mythologically named bodies, I do a lot of work in deconstructing that mythological narrative as well. So the way I see these things are not going to be the way you see them normally written as, and that is for a good reason. So Juno in Virgo, yes, a lot of people see that as the soulmate, the marital partner, sure, but as a lot of us know, that can also be a deeply abusive, soul-breaking experience. For people who have great karma with their soulmates, it's a good thing. And for people who, have a more destructive pattern with souls that they have been journeying with for a very long time, it can be an absolute soul-crushing experience. So Juno and Virgo, you got to look at soulmate connections that are very strongly centered around themes of healing, themes of service, which on the service side can seem like a good thing, but if it's taken too far, sometimes the same soulmate contracts can be things that try to get one person to sacrifice themselves in the name of the other because, oh wow, they're your soulmate, so you need to give up everything you are for them. I have seen this BS, and that is very, very possible with the Juno in Virgo alignment. Sorry about the flies, by the way. We tried moving the kitty litter into this room, and so I kind of have to deal with this. So we're going to be moving it back out soon. But in any case, so Juno in Virgo, yes, so people with soulmate connections that are more aligned, it can be a great thing. It can be a wonderful thing, but for things that are very much running on the expectation that someone else has to give up their life force, their resources, their will, their happiness, their health for the other, that is where the dysfunction can happen. So Juno is connected to Hylonome. Hylonome is another mythological figure. She is the partner of the centaur Cylaris. They're both centaurs, I believe. And Cylaris does not look at what he's doing. He just runs into a spear and he dies. And Hylonome can't take that. So Hylonome also runs into the same spear consciously, and she impales herself so that she dies with him. And it's a sad story. They're deeply in love, and then they can't handle the loss of, or rather one can't handle the loss of the other. Skeptically and cynically, one can interpret that as codependency dynamics, but from the perspective of a more holistic understanding of healing, it can also very strongly refer to themes of grief, themes of loss, fear of abandonment, separation, and being disconnected from the person that you really truly see as your soulmate / life partner. And a lot of that also comes down to whether or not your perception is accurate. It is unjust to someone if you kind of project that dynamic on them and they are not feeling the same thing. But Hylonome creates this kind of vulnerability in the skies when she is very, very strongly lit. And so if you're feeling very, very compelled or drawn to someone at this time, and you're willing to give up anything, including your own self-worth, to be with them, this is the alignment that's pushing it. Now, some of you might be like, well, I'm not resonating with this, and that's fine. Maybe you have great soulmate karma, but not everybody does. So if this applies to you, it is as powerful as kryptonite and its effect on Superman, which is why I'm making this video. So you got Juno, you got Hylonome, and the third factor is Algol and Uranus. Algol is basically the Medusa's head that is slain by the hero Perseus, etc., etc. You can look up the mythology. But when you look at the actual myth, yes, the straightforward interpretation is that Medusa was this awful monster that needed to die. But there are also other versions of the story where she was minding her own business by herself, and they kept sending heroes after her to persecute her, hunt her down, and kill her. Expecting someone to be a saint when you are being wronged and vilified is, that's a lot. And in fact, okay, calm down, Josh, calm down. When you look at the actual myth of Medusa, Medusa was a priestess in Athena's temple. And calm down, baby. And when she was raped in that temple. Yes. See, Josh is a feminist. An actual feminist, not whatever people are using that term to mean. But effectively, Medusa was a priestess of Athena who got raped, and she was transformed into a serpent monster because she got raped. And of course, there are other narratives that show Athena and Medusa as two sides of the same coin. One as the patriarchal daughter, mind-born of Zeus, and the other as the Nubian bird serpent goddess who got erased in the creation of that. So she's a lot more complex than people realize. So irrespective of whether or not you see her as a monster or as someone who was made into a monster and treated as a monster, even though she was a victim, Medusa can bring up all of those sides of what has happened to the feminine. Now, reactive abuse is a real thing. If you put someone in a cage and you keep poking them with a stick, if they get a chance, they are going to beat you. And that doesn't make them an abuser. And calling them an abuser because of it is also unjust. But carrying that same energy forward onto people who don't deserve that treatment is a different matter entirely. So you got to really look at where you are with that Medusa story. So in the context of Juno and Hylonome, thinking about it, really this is the opportunity for you to get a greater, if not grittier, grip on whatever it is that you are facing in terms of your soulmate dynamics. If you're someone who feels this constant longing and separation from an idealized other, it's time for you to open your eyes. Which part of the story are you missing? Who are you pedestalizing? Who are you vilifying? Who are you wrongly attributing blame to? Sometimes it's yourself, sometimes it's the other person. Sometimes by taking on the blame and seeing yourself as the monster, you unconsciously ignore the actual person in the connection that you may be running after. So again, this is not going to apply fully to everyone because people have different levels of karma with this dynamic. But for some of you, this video can absolutely change your path. So that's what I wanted to raise awareness of at this time. And I hope it is useful because this energy is very, very, very strongly present over the next few days. So let me just get you the degrees very quickly, just so you can look it up in your chart and see where that connects to for you and how strongly it impacts you at all. At the minute right now, Juno is at 25 degrees of Virgo. Uranus is at 26 degrees of Taurus. Hylonome is at 26 degrees of Capricorn. So, these are basically the degrees that you need to be looking at in your chart to see how they manifest for you and so on and so forth. And I think that is a wrap. I believe Algol should be 26 degrees of Taurus. I believe that's a wrap. Just look at what comes up and really be willing to see the truth. And that will help you find your way forward. No matter how complicated a particular dynamic is, be willing to see the truth. And that's it. Take care. Very many blessings. Ciao, ciao for now. Bye-bye.